We started the show with Ciampa coming out and threatening Tony Schiavone before Jericho comes out and interrupts him. Throws a lot of insults, complains that everyone he's facing is bald, calls him a goblin face, bad Santa, and then says, "You're not as big of a fish as you thought you were now that I'm back." They scrap, get broken apart, and go back to fighting. AEW Dynamite tonight was an absolute banger, starting out with a Kevin Knight and Don Callis promo. First thing that happens when they come inside the building, followed up by Shane Taylor versus Jon Moxley for the Continental Championship in an absolute banger. Now, I first believe I saw Shane Taylor back in Reality of Wrestling, Booker T's promotion in the late 2010s. I've always thought he was a pretty good wrestler, very Smash Mouth style, can throw some, knees pretty viciously. I've always liked him. Really glad him and his group are getting the spotlight. Absolutely great match. You have a rare suicide dive for Moxley. You have Shane putting Moxley through a timekeeper's table, an ankle pick, a stomp, and the bulldog choke at the end to win the match before all of Shane Taylor Promotions comes out and beats down the Death Riders that come out to save Moxley. Then we have Mercedes Moné with a video package saying she's coming back for what's mine. She's going to win the Owen. She's going to win the world title because no one stepped into her shoes. No one could be the star after she left. We also have Don Callis come out. I hate the tie around his neck instead of through the collar. I don't know what it is, but it bugs the shit out of me. He has Kevin Knight come out to start cutting a promo. The entire crowd chanting, "Fuck Don Callis," which I absolutely love. He calls Kevin Knight his number one asset, which is crazy with Andrade, Okada, and Fletcher all still in there. Darby comes out, jumps Kevin Knight from behind with a skateboard before running out the building when Don Callis' family comes out to back him up. We have Pac versus Briscoe. Honestly, fantastic match. Neither of these guys are really known for having bad matches at this point. You have a brainbuster on Briscoe on the outside through a chair. You have a suplex where they both tumble outside, but it is over with a J Driller for the win. He then grabs the microphone and calls out MJF, calls him a little bitch, essentially, and says that he talked to Tony Khan instead of MJF. And at Forbidden Door, we're getting 6-on-6 conglomeration and Mark Briscoe versus MJF and 5 people on his team. If Mark Briscoe wins, he gets a world title shot, and this is all going to be in a steel cage. So the conglomeration versus MJF and his team going to be absolutely fantastic in that cage. We have Andrade versus Orange Cassidy right after that, with them already coming out and Andrade interrupting and walking through MJF, essentially. Absolutely fun match. Both of them taking selfies with people on the outside. Leo Rush coming out and taking selfies with both of them. Andrade and Leo yelling at each other. He knows how you know he knows. It's fine. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm loving Leo Rush. You also had Orange Cassidy with a pair of breakaway jeans over his jeans, taunting Andrade, who instead of letting his hands go in his pocket, did the breakaway pants. Really fun match. Lots of back and forth before Andrade ends up winning with the message. Absolutely fantastic showing there for Andrade. He's only getting better and better lately, and I think he's had more charisma even with less promo time. You have Ospreay talking about how happy he is before Alex Windsor, his real-life partner, comes in and he has to console her. You have the Death Riders promo on Shane Taylor and challenge them to a street fight on Collision this coming Saturday. And then it leads into Sky Blue versus Maya World. Maya World, they announced, actually lost her brother this past week and then stepped in for Sari, who was out injured. So absolute kudos to her for pulling herself together. She actually does get the upset win and advances, which I think is incredible. And I'm just curious what all played into that outside of obviously the tragedy, and condolences to her and her family. We also have Zack Sabre Jr. cutting a promo calling out Kenny Omega for Forbidden Door. That'll be an absolute fucking banger. And we end with Brody King versus Swerve. You have a fuck ice chant immediately. You have a stomp from the outside through Brody sitting in a chair. You have exposed turnbuckles. And you have Nana getting involved before Swerve wins with the Vertebreaker. So we're going to have Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland. Absolutely fucking incredible.